Hi guys, today I'm going to be creating 3 cards using the Spellbinders Small and Large die of the month for March 2019. So to get started, we're just going to take a quick peek at the dies. And for the small die of the month set, you get these bunnies that you have to kind of inlay. It gives you an outline image and an inside image, and so you just kind of inlay them together. And then for the large die, there's this die in there that creates a pop-up element for the inside of your card. These are my magnetic sheets, and that's how I store my dies. I keep them in the original packaging. Here I have my card panels, the fronts, and these are some watercolor panels that I'd created before, and then I did some white heat embossing of the stamped images just to kind of give it a little bit of interest. I'm going to take some white acrylic paint and do a little paint splattering on the top. I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to get started with card number 1. So for card number 1, I cut a coral piece, my watercolor panel using stitch rectangle dies. I also used a stitched circle die on some vellum, and then I hand cut those 2 banners out of white and coral. I've also already done all of my die cuts. They're all put together already, all my flowers and my bunnies and all that. So now I'm just going to attach my coral panel to my card base, which is an A2 size, 4 1/4, 5 1/2 white 110-pound cardstock. I'm going to place my watercolor panel right in the center of my coral panel. And then I'm going to put together my banner. And I popped up the banner and then grabbed the vellum circle. And now I'm going to put some glue on the vellum circle. And I'm just trying to figure out placement exactly where I want it. And once I put the glue on the vellum piece, I can place down my banner in my circle. And then I'm just going to start figuring out where everything's going to get placed. I'm going to make like a little trio of flowers there off to the side, which I'm just going to glue them. I'm going to glue 2 and then pop up that 3rd one there in the middle. And now I'm just going to start putting some of the greenery. These were actually flower dies that came in the small die kit, and I just cut some green out of the green paper and turned it into like some greenery for the bottom. I'm going to glue down my bunny and trim the stem off of his flower. And then for the sentiment, I cut out the Be Happy, and it's out of white cardstock, and I'm just going to glue that down directly to my banner. I think these cards are so cute. I love this. Love, love, love. So there's my Be Happy. Now I'm just going to add some of the clear droplets from Pretty Pink Posh around my card, and that will complete card number 1. I'll give you a little close-up photo that I took with some better lighting. There it is. These are so cute. You guys, if you don't get this, you should. I think they have such a great deal. It's a good deal. Anyway, for card number 2, I'm going to create a little scene, and I'm using my Adventure Edges by Elizabeth Craft, and I just used some craft cardstock, and I cut out what's going to be like the dirt part of the garden, and then just using my craft knife, I cut like a little bunny hole. I trimmed my bunny in half so he'll fit coming out of the bunny hole, and I'm just going to glue him in. And then he's going to be holding a carrot, so I'm going to glue the little, it came with the die set, comes with a small and a large carrot that you put together, so that's the small one that he's holding. And then all those little slits around the bunny are for carrots to be sticking out of the ground, so I'm just going to glue them and pop them into each one of the little holes. I'm going to pop up the entire thing using some craft foam and glue it down to my card panel, which I used. The bushes in the back are, it's a cloud die that comes in the Adventure Edges, but I use it a lot for bushes. So now I'm going to attach some little fluffy white clouds, and those are Lawn Fawn, the Lawn Fawn die. I use those quite a bit as well. I'm going to do 3 little clouds, and then the Spring Greetings is cut out of coral cardstock, and that one is going to, that actually came from I think last month's small or large die of the month. I can't remember which one, but that I'm just going to glue it directly to the top of my card. And then at the base of my card, because there's a lot of brown there, I decided to make like a little flower, um, almost like a weed patch full of flowers. So I'm just going to glue down a bunch of the greenery that is also dies in the die set. And then I cut out a bunch of the little flowers from different colors of cardstock that I had in my stash. And these dies are great if you've got a whole bunch of leftover cardstock. I just don't know why, but I feel like I have to save every single piece of cardstock. This is a great way to kind of thin out that pile that you've got going, is to get all these little die cuts that you have to cut out to make these scenes work, and that's just like a great way to get rid of it. I'm going to use some of my Nouveau. These are different drops that I get the Nouveau kits every month. The tonic craft kits every month, and these are just some of the drops that have come in the different kits. And I added them to the centers of my flowers, and then that is card number 2 all done. Here's a close-up. I smushed that one purple one in the middle. I don't even know how I did it. I'm sad. So for card number 3, this one's going to take a while. And I did notice that there's not a whole lot of instruction for the actual flower, the put together of the flowers, especially this one right here. So this is a daisy. And if you didn't know that and you just looked at the die, you would think it was like, why is there a spider in here? It's a daisy. It could probably be a spider though if you wanted it to. So I'm just going to run through and show you how to put together each one of the flowers real quick. Even on the Spellbinders website, they didn't use the daisy, so I didn't know what it was at first, and then I kind of just figured it out, but this makes it a little easier. So it's hard to tell, but I used glitter white cardstock for all those little pokey pieces that are coming out the top. And because I'm not going to be using the die set the way it was intended, I still wanted to use this little half circle piece. So I cut out a piece of gray cardstock using a stitch circle. And then I'm just going to attach. Now I cut this out from the watercolor paper that we made. And so I just popped it up on, well, I didn't pop it up, I just glued it directly onto the gray cardstock. This is a W+9 sentiment called Create. It says create something beautiful every day. And I'm going to pop that up and put it directly across the front of my card panel. And I can't remember, I think I got that embossing folder at Joann's, and it was like super cheap. I think they were having a sale with like 5 for $10 or something like that. So that's one of the ones that I got at Joann's. These are the pieces that came out of that little half circle that we cut. And I'm going to pop up the flowers. Now these flowers are from the large die. So the ones on the front of the card, all of the stuff on the front of this card is from the large die set. The inside of the card is going to have a mix of the large and the small. So if you wanted to case this and all you were getting was the large die set, you could do the same exact thing, only using the large. You would just have to keep out all of the stuff that I do on the inside from the smaller one, the small die set. I'm just adding some last little finishing flowers into my little flower stack right there. I'm going to pop up another one of the ones from the large die set, and then pop up the half circle on the side, and then set that off to the side and work on the inside. So now, that was a lot of sides. You need to cut 2 pieces from the die here. I used like a kind of grayish brown color, and then your card base needs to be oriented this way because this is the only way that this is going to fit. So I'm going to decorate both sides using some, I think it's Spellbinders paper, but it's from one of their other kits. And now I'm going to start doing a little doctoring. We're going to doctor up these die cuts a little bit. And I will zoom in so that you can see exactly where I cut. If you can't tell from just watching right now, I will zoom in now. And you can see where I made all the cuts from the original die cut piece. And then you'll have to do the same thing if you want to recreate this card. And there's these little pieces on the end. You'll see when you look at your die, it looks like wood. It has like embossed lines in it that kind of look like wood, and that's where you're going to do your score. There's score lines there. So you're going to use your bone folder, and you're going to fold them over and burnish all those score lines. And I'll show you from the side how it should look when you're done. So that's one piece, and the other piece You can do the exact same thing. But you see on that piece that I just put off to the side, you're missing one of those tabs. And you'll see why in a minute. We're going to just finish burnishing all of our score lines. So this piece is going to look like this. And then I'll zoom back out so that you can see what I'm doing here. So we're going to add some tape. And so that would be a wood post. You're going to add some strong tape right over the wood post, and you're going to fold over your other wood post, and you're going to stick them right on top of each other. So on the back, this is what it'll look like. So you've got that one tab in the middle, and then one tab on either end, and that's where we're going to attach it to our card. So I'm going to use some liquid adhesive so that way I have a couple seconds to kind of slide it around just in case it doesn't line up the first time exactly where I want it to go. So here's your card base. And you want that, I'm just showing you here, but you want that tab in the middle to line up right on the side of where your card base folds in. So right by that fold line, because you want your card to still be able to open and close. So you don't want to cover that fold line. I'm going to put some glue on the tab, and I'm going to place it. So you just have to figure out where you want your window box to be. I wanted mine to be at the bottom of my card. It could be in the middle. It could be, wherever you want it. So this is basically where it's going to line up. Now I'm going to show you where you're going to glue on this other tab. And you're going to fold it just like I did right there. And then that piece, you're going to pull it all the way over to the edge of your pattern paper. Not to the edge of the card, but just to the edge of the pattern paper. And you're going to make sure it's good and secure. Now the part that's glued is just the tab, not the faux wooden post. It's just your tab, because when you open your card, it's going to pull it up so that your window box pops up. So now we're going to attach the other side, and I'm just making sure everything is lined up and the glue is good and adhered. And you're going to put glue on this tab, and all you can do is shut the door. So just close your panel, push down, make sure it's good and attached. And now you can see that when you open your card, your window box is going to pop up. So now we're going to decorate the outside of the window box, and these are also a part of your kit. And I cut it out 3 times. Once was green, one was coral, one was purple, one was white, 3 times each. And then I just kind of fussy cut around, and just to add some color to it. You could also color these in with your markers if you don't want to do that much die cutting, but I was having a blast cutting all this stuff out and die cutting and layering and inlaying. So there's the outside all decorated, and now we're going to start putting in our pieces on the inside of our window boxes. So I'm just going to kind of start arranging some of the stems and the flowers from the large die set. And some of them are going to be glued flat, some of them are going to be popped up a little bit. And then I'm going to start attaching these are the small die of the month flowers that had a bunch of extras, so I decided I was going to fill the flower boxes. Got a lot of wow factor there. So in order to put the small ones in the front, you're going to put the glue on the front of the stem, and then just kind of stick your fingers through and adhere them to the front of your window box. Now I decided I had a couple extra little bunnies that I made because I went a little crazy with the bunnies, so I'm going to add them to my flower box as well. So I've got the one that's kind of popped up on the side, and I stuck him inside the flower box. And now I'm kind of showing you that if you have any of these flowers that are kind of floppy, that are attached to the front, just take a little piece of acetate, stick some glue on it, and then put it up behind the flower and attach it to the inside of the front of your window box. And then that will help keep the flowers from falling back if you've got any of the stems that aren't quite strong enough to hold the heads up. I'm also going to attach another bunny, one of the big bunny, off to the side. And just kind of before you attach anything permanently, just close your card to make sure that nobody is sticking out over the sides when you close your card. So that bunny, if I had put him all the way to the edge of the window box, he would have been sticking out, so that's why he's kind of tucked in a little bit. And but other than that, everything fits inside nicely. I've attached the panel, the front panel, to my card base, and this is going to pretty much complete it. I did make a couple of changes, which you'll see later on, but look at that dimension. Talk about a wow factor when you open that card. I showed this to my daughter, and she was like, "Oh my God, I love it!" So I can see her trying to steal it from me and putting it on her shelf of mom stuff. So the only thing I'm going to change on the inside of this one, you'll see right now in the second picture, is I didn't like the fact that I trimmed down that yellow flower on the end, so I added a purple one on top of it, and then just a couple of those little butterflies. So now I'm just going to run through all the cards. Got my Be Happy, my spring greetings with my bunny in the garden, and then the last one, create something beautiful every day. I really want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I hope you get some inspiration from this, see some other ideas for how to put together these cards. I love the pop-up element and the way that it was intended, but I always try to think outside of the box and think of something else to do with the dies that they send us. And yeah, so thanks for stopping by, and the next video will be 10 cards using the Spellbinders card kit of the month. And I will see you again real soon. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.